RIP Grux. Paragon just released a new patch, and I have to say, I'm actually not that upset by the nerf. I did play a game as Grux, and I found he wasn't nerfed that bad. It was just a little more difficult to 1v5, but he did feel quite powerful, but not invincible like previously. So today's patch, the main topic of conversation is Sevarog, the new hero within Paragon. I'm putting a video together for Sevarog, a small guide if you will, to help you guys out, so I won't talk about him much in this video. You can check that video out here. For those of you who aren't familiar with Sevarog, he is a tank who thrives in the jungle. Sevarog uses his giant hammer, eats souls and grows in size. By eating souls, he stacks health and gains damage boost, which make him grow and become super deadly in the late game. On to the second topic of the patch, balance. This is called the Fighter Balance Pass. An epic have said, hero balance is going to be a constant process for the team as we add heroes and the game evolves. With that, we've made a fighter balance pass that affects Grux and Feng Mal. The win rates for Grux and Feng Mal have been higher than other heroes, so we took a couple of actions to help even things out. We have decreased their damage scaling in the late game. To offset that, we've increased their early game damage a bit to help keep them more relevant throughout the match. We think this will help bring them back to the pack a bit. In the next few updates, we'll be looking at movement speed, travel mode tweaks, along with balance passes on other roles. So first, let's take a look at the changes they've made to Grux. Now Grux's passive was pretty much imbalanced in my opinion. Prior to the patch, you would gain 4 health per kill, and these include minion kills, so you could find yourself up around 1000 health from just minion kills in the late game. That saves you around 9 to 10 card points, which means you can be 9 to 10 card points ahead of the enemy when everyone's at 60 card points. And since there's no cap to how much health you can gain, you can just keep on farming and you'll get further ahead. Add this to the fact that everyone seemed to have lifesteal and attack speed in their deck. This meant Grux would survive 5v1 teamfights without breaking a sweat. So Paragon have changed this. You now only get 2 health per kill, with you only ever being able to get a max of 200 health, which in my opinion is a good change, but I feel like the cap is too low, especially in the late game when AD carries are critting well into the thousands. What's 200 health? But from what I have seen of Grux in the new patch, and I've only played a couple of games with him, this change seems to make the games more about planning and strategy, and less about running in, spamming his ultimate and holding down a mouse button. The next change that took place to Grux was a nerf to his ultimate. Players routinely got 120 physical damage, which is equivalent to 15 to 16 card points of physical damage. This has been reduced. Now let me just say this, Grux's ultimate was so good. In fact, if you had the right cards, Grux was pretty much impossible to kill when he used his ultimate. The 120 physical damage increase is insane, and so now they've reduced it significantly. They also removed the move speed bonus, adjusted the duration scaling, and increased the cost of the ultimate. I think these changes are good because Grux's ult already has a stun. You don't need bonus movement speed, since if you land a good ult, no one can escape anyway, especially with Grux's Q and E. The next change was to Grux's Q, Smash and Grab. I'm not too bothered about the damage changes to abilities like this because I really use it to pull enemies closer and use my auto attack to deal the damage. So while they increase the base damage scaling, they reduce the card scaling. The same goes for Grux's E, Charge. I really use this as an escape or to catch up to an enemy. I never really considered it much for damage, and changes to this doesn't really bother me that much. Now the second hero to get a rebalance was Feng Mao. I also thought Feng Mao was a bit overpowered, but nowhere near the level Grux was. Again, the problem with Feng Mao, in my opinion, and judging from the patch notes Epic agree, was the impact of his passive. The amount of attack bonus and shield bonus he got from his passive would be ridiculous if you played him right, and it would be very difficult to shut him down. Therefore, they've reduced attack bonus and shield bonus from his passive from 0.1 to 0.4, which is a pretty big reduction, but I think this change will help bring him into balance with other heroes. But I'm not a huge Feng Mao player, so let me know what you think about this change in the comments below. Just like Grogs, I don't think many people relied on Feng Mao's Q and E abilities to deal damage. I used his Q to teleport towards an enemy to allow my auto attack or R to deal the majority of the damage, as well as the E to slow my enemies. So damage changes aren't like again aren't a real big deal in my opinion, although I could be wrong because again I don't play Feng Mao that much. So let me know how you feel about these changes. Feng Mal's ultimate is absolutely devastating, especially in the early game. I felt it did a lot of damage, and so they reduced his level 1 ultimate damage scaling from 400 to 325, but they've increased the damage scaling on the next 2 levels, which I can see why, but I still think his ultimate is quite strong. I'm probably biased though because I tend to play more squishy heroes like Sparrow. They have reduced the card scaling from 3 to 1, which seems like a huge decrease, so I'm interested to see how this impacts Feng Mal players. The shield on Earth Shatter has also been reduced, and I think this makes sense because you want to use your ultimate at the right time and you should pay the price for getting it wrong in my opinion. You shouldn't have a shield as well as missing your ultimate and then you're able to escape or whatever. I like the risk reward. So that's really the two main things in this patch notes, the introduction of Sevarog and the balance changes that take place. I also have a tiny bit of information about Iggy and Scorch. During the Paragon stream, Ninja Puko was in the hero selection screen and I spotted Iggy and Scorch. Unfortunately, we never got a look at the abilities or any gameplay, but I managed to grab a screenshot and on further inspection I noticed that we could see Iggy and Scorch's affinities. Iggy and Scorch will most likely have the corruption and fury affinities. So obviously this could change by the time they release Iggy and Scorch, but from the screenshot it looks like they'll have fury and corruption. And fury and corruption is the exact same as Grux. And you know, I love Grogs. I really like the Fury cards because, you know, the damage, the crit, the attack speed, and then you've got the corruption with the lifesteal and some really cool passives within the corruption cards. So I'm really looking forward to Iggy and Scorch. I'm not really sure what kind of role they'll play, so let me know what type of role you think Iggy and Scorch are going to be. Also, let me know if you enjoyed this kind of video, me taking a look at the Paragon patch and updating you with, you know, just general stuff that I found out, so that I know if I should continue doing this for future patches. Leave a like and subscribe for more Paragon content, and be sure to look out for my Sevarog video coming soon.